Shalom Yasharala, this your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth never will. And sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson, which is pretty much centered around, basically the job of the prophets. Some people ask us, certain questions why we're always doing this and why we're always doing, watching the news, always constantly sending these here articles and stories. Right now it's a hot time for a lot of different articles and news clippings to be sent back and forth between the brothers, whether it's dealing with the medical situation, whether it's dealing with the wars and the rumors of wars. As you can see these headlines right here, it's pretty much all about this, the wars and rumors of wars is going on over there, all right? This is being stirred back up into the mix again. You have the different prophecies that will be speaking, all right? But nevertheless, like the scriptures say, it's going to be like a woman in travail, like those birth pains, all right? You have one contraction that's far from another contraction. That's how things used to be. Now the time is being shortened, all right? These prophecies are all hitting back to back to back to back, all right? You have, people in fear of another round of lockdowns, kids going back to school, different variants coming out. Then you also have this here pullout over in Afghanistan. Then you have the like a 20-year reunion of that situation that happened in September. All right, all these things coming together. The MOTB all being pushed at the same time. How you call it? Uproars of the people. All these things are all ticking all at the same time. And some people will ask us, why are we always watching the news? Why are we always into these things, man? Hey, man, this is what our job is to be. All right, we were watchmen. We were put forth to watch these prophecies. And in fact, we're going to actually start speaking about this because, people will say that, they're Christians and this is funny because it was kind of like sparked by talking to one of my customers that I know is a really big Christian, like a regular, Christian and everything like that. They have the normal Christian tones and everything. Well, God bless you, brother. And this is that, and talking about, the scriptures and everything else like that. Every time I, go around this here customer, he's always talking about the scriptures or things pertaining to the scriptures, but he never speaks about prophecy. All right. But yet and still, the way that they appear outwardly is that they're so-called devout Christians and everything else like that. But then on the flip side, they will look at us and say, hey, man, you guys claim to be into the Bible and everything like that, but how come you guys are always talking about stuff that's going on in the news? All right, this is Revelation 19:10. It says, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy. All right, so if you claim to be, in the spirit of the Lord, all right, you claim to be a so-called Christian, which, using those terms, would be a follower of who they would call, Christ or the Messiah, Hamashiachim. All right. But nevertheless, you claim to be these quote unquote Christians or followers of Christ. All right. What spirit would you be in? All right. Because he spoke about a lot of different things. He gave us a lot of the signs. Matthew 24 is dedicated to that whole Matthew 24 is dedicated to that topic, the signs that will be coming in the end. The word being used there, signs, is synonymous with the prophecies. All right, the things to look for. All right, the things that these are so-called markers to look for. Like giving the example of a woman or a woman that's pregnant, that's about to give. She's about to have a baby. Right. The number one sign that she's about to have this here baby is what? Her water breaking, meaning she's going into labor at that point in time. Right. So the water breaking being a sign, all right, would be basically like a prophecy, a foretelling of what's to come, right? So let me read it again. It says, for the testimony, all right, of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy. So if you're coming in that stead, if you're coming in the name of Yahawashi, or, these are just basic Christians. We're not really worried about them, but just this, like I said, this triggered a topic as far as, why we do what we do. And this is the most important thing to be doing at this here point in time. All right, you say you claim to be all on Jesus is love. We got to go and spread the word and the mission. How they have those missionary things where they going out and have the outreaches and things like that. And they always tell me, the person I was talking to, because he'll say certain things and then, I'll go into the scriptures about this and that. And I'll quote scriptures about this and that, He's always like, oh, you should go and teach. You should go teach this and that. But then same time, I'll come up and I'll be talking to him about certain things. I remember telling him about, before this whole lockdown, before the whole pandemic even came around, I want to tell them about, hey, soon, they're going to implement this MOTB. And I told them what it was. all right, and everything else like that. Oh, no, I'm not really worried about that and everything else like this. And this guy was focused on this pre-tribulation rapture. Oh, we're not going to be here in the tribulations and things like this, and so on and so forth. So they don't really divulge a lot of time into looking at these prophecies, all right? And this is one of our arch enemies' weak spots as well, too. All right, Vocab Malone. All right, he likes to be a so-called Bible scholar and know all about the Bible, but he don't really touch on none of the prophecies, man. All right, and he can't break down none of the prophecies. Oh, that already happened. Well, where did it happen at? When did it happen? All right, can you show forth of any of this evidence that you said it already happened? All right, so this is a great measuring stick of seeing certain things, and this is the spirit that you should be in. All right, constantly watching the news and watching the events that's going on, digging deeper into a lot of these events, because you'll see certain things on face value, all right? And if you don't dig into these things, you won't really know how these things affect certain other things, right? Like when we had this whole pandemic start up, you had all these goddamn these basically black folks, quote unquote. Well, we'll just call them black folks, right? Because that's what they are. They dead ass black folks, right? They start wanting to jump on the bandwagon as far as being, quote unquote, having some kind of knowledge. Oh, it's the 5G. It's the 5G. Like, well, you niggas is on the surface level. You didn't even really study all of this stuff, man. You don't really even know the gigahertz that this thing how it would even affect you. Like, you don't really know too much into these things. Like, you can go into, like, what the military called the ADS system, the anti-denial system, which is basically what you should be afraid of with the 5G. This is the harmful effects of that thing, Just like, like your microwave, you know what I'm saying? Most people know that you cook food with your microwave, right? But you don't want to put nothing living inside that microwave, because why? It's shooting radiation in there, because, that would be the difference. Somebody knowing about a microwave, well, on a surface level, I just know it heats food up. But somebody on a deeper level knows using microwaves, all right, and radioactive microwaves at that to do it, to heat up your food, all right? Going inside penetrating the skin level and heating up the, basically, things on a molecular level. Sometimes you put like steak or something like that in the microwave, and like the oil inside of that starts boiling out, or sizzling up, because it's pretty much not a chemical reaction, but it's those radiation waves are going through there, and it's affecting it, in a different way. All right, so this is why we actually dig into these things. We dig into these news articles and these subjects, because it makes the vision that much more clear about certain things. All right, like for instance, Ezekiel 38, right, where it talks about prepare thyself. Let me just grab it, because I'll be done butchered it up. But I just want to use this as an example. Ezekiel 38 and 7. Well, let me go up a little bit. Verse 4, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army. So, I mean, how would you know about the hooks into the jaws? How would you know about that if you don't really know too much of the history about, what they call the USSR and how that wound up, the Cold War, all right? And then the situation with Vladimir Putin coming into office, and then his whole time frame of what he was doing, all right? Some people would just want to look at a surface level. Oh, Russia, we hear on the news about the Russian aggression and everything else like that, or the situation between, well, let me read this. It says, continuing on, it says, and all of them, Salak, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers, shields, and all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmet. So why does it keep talking about like shields, helmet, armor, and things like that? All right. And, again, you'd have to go on a deeper level and have to understand things like the S-400 system and why that thing is so important and why it's such a pivotal topic to keep talking about. All right. Because it's going to play a major role into, allowing this here, what we're reading here, to take place. All right. Because it's selling out these missile defense systems to these weaker nations. Like the scripture also say in a different prophecy, let the weak say I am strong. Right. So you see how these things, this is the importance of knowing and digging deeper into these things. This is why we were set up as these watchmen, to watch all these things, the ins and the outs, and make it plain that you may read it, like the scriptures say, that you may run there, readeth it, man. You can just pick it up easily and just go with it, man. All right. You don't have to sit there and study all the technology and all the history of the S-400 and what all the capabilities and everything has got to go, and why that, when you mention it, S-400, and you mention the F-35, what the hell does that really matter to somebody that's on a surface level boat? You see, our job was to be a watchman and do a diligent search about these different things, man. All right. And see, hey, look, man, The F-35 is a stealth fighter jet. It's one of the most superior planes that they had. All right, well, you got the Su-57, which is the Russian one, and I think it's the J something, XJ or J something, the Chinese version of that same plane. All right, which their planes are way more sophisticated. All right, but nevertheless, the main point to hinge on is, okay, the F-35 which is America's newest plane that they put in operation. It's a stealth fighter, but the S-400, all right, which Russia developed that and is selling like we're reading here. All right, talking about let me read verse 7. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself. All right, we seen them with their Satan 1, Satan 2. Now they're coming out with a Satan 3 missile, the nuclear powered cruise missiles. All right, the hypersonic missiles. All right, this is why we have to watch and we have to pay attention to these news articles and these things like that, and we go into all these different things because we can see these prophecies coming off the page. This is how we are accurately able to measure the times diligently, man. All right, you have some people that think that these things are, why y'all always talking about that? What does that got to do with the scriptures and everything else like that, man? All right, so for instance, in verse 7, hell, knowing about Russia advancing their military capability, we can see that verse 7 is taking place right now, man. All right, going back to verse 4 and 5, America was out there trying to steal Venezuela, but what they do, they put I think an S-300 out there in Venezuela. America stopped flying over there, man. All right, what happened out there in not Iraq, in Syria? All right, with Bashar al-Assad, America was pounding the shit out of them out there, but then Russia put that S-400 out there, and guess what? No more fly zone for America, man. All right, and they're like, well, what? They just put out one missile defense system. Why don't they just do this everywhere? Well, because everybody's not Russia's allies like that, man. But we understand, according to the prophecies, because we were set up to do this here job, our spirits was set for these types of things to go into these things, man. The scripture also say, not every brother has the same lot. Not every brother is going to be proficient in the same exact lane, more or less to say. The scriptures say we're many members but one body. All right, if we were all toes, then what the hell? You have some brothers that's deep on history, man. All right, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I mean, I can attest for it in our own camp, man. We have a very diverse camp where every brother has their own specialty and things like that, and each brother is edified by another brother, man. All right, so you'll have a brother that's deep into history, all right, and bringing out things like that. Another brother that's deep into prophecy, all right. Another brother that's deep into exhortation. Another brother that's just deep into all different topics, man. All right, so it's just like, you're not just getting one thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, man. All right, if you had a brother that was just, or a camp that was just full of just, we're just all history buffs. Well, what about, prophecy, man? All right, well, what about exhortation? What happens if a brother happens to stumble or fall, or, you need some type of structure or leadership and things like that, but everybody's just history buffs, man. All right, who's going to lead the camp, man? All right, so, hey, this is why, like I said, we're not all going to have we're not all going to be in the same lot. We all have our different positions to play, but nevertheless, the Most High has us all, working together as one unit, more or less to say, as one team. All right, but getting back into the topic, let me grab this real quick. I just quoted this. I think it's in Isaiah 62. Yeah, Isaiah 62, verse 6 and 7. It says, I have set thee a watchman upon... you know what? Let me come back to that. This is Ezekiel chapter 33. I'm going to start at verse 1. Again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people. All right, and so this is... this is what we were commanded to do, to go out there and to warn our people, man. All right, we were commanded to go out here and warn our people and tell our people about these things. Let me grab something else real quick, because I quoted this as well, too. In Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1, it says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And you notice I just jumped through three different places in the scripture, which I'm going to go back to the other two. But you hear there's a common word here, right? Watch and watchmen and things like that. We're supposed to be watching. What are we watching, man? All right, what good is knowing all the prophecies in the scriptures, right? And knowing that there's certain things, like about the MOTB, what that is and everything else like that, man. Like, let's just say exactly what the MOTB is and everything else like that. And you can accurately teach it and everything like that. But guess what? You're not watching. You in a goddamn bomb shelter underground, and you have no outside connection to the world, not seeing the news and everything else like that, not knowing what they're actually implementing around the globe right now. What good is that for you right now, man? How are you able to measure the times diligently in itself, man? All right. How are you able to see these things going if you don't understand how these things are being played out? So we have to watch, and we're watching what? The news, the prophecy speaking, man. All right. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. All right. And the vision is going into these prophecies, man. All right. Now, look, we're not in a time now. All right. You know, like the scripture say that the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. All right. So technically, you know, we are the same people that was writing these things down in the past. But nevertheless, this ain't the time now to be writing down new visions, new prophecies, man. Now is the time for us to be revealing these things, man. So now we have to go to the other end of the spectrum and start watching for these things to take place and then correlating them to the things that was written in the scriptures. All right. It says, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. All right. And so like I was going into with the F-35 and the F4 or the S-400 and things like that about why these certain things matter and everything else like that. See, we go and we do the research about these things and we give it to you plainly. So you're like, oh, shit. Oh, I see how that's going to work out. Oh, I see what that mean about that. Oh, shit, man, that is what that is talking about, man. All right, you're talking about, what is it, 200 million missiles coming down? All right, but then they're like, wait, when you look at the nuclear stockpile, it ain't nowhere near that amount of number. Well, when you're looking at the vehicles, when you go inside that warhead itself or the tip of it itself, all right, there's multiple warheads on the inside of that, man. Oh, shit, now I understand. Because all I had to do was watch your video instead of going into all these different military tech videos and watching this and watching that and studying all these different things. We put it all together for you, man. All right. And this is the true spirit of those that are following after Yahawashi HaMashiach. All right. Or quote unquote, the true Christians. All right. Let me go back now to Ezekiel 33, verse 2. It says, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land will take a man of their coast and set him for a watchman, if he seeth the sword come upon a land and he blow the trumpet and warn the people, all right, so we see the sword coming. We see the devil is about to come down having great wrath because why? We know he has but a short amount of time. We're measuring the time diligently and we're warning the people about these things, man. All right, this is why we're constantly watching the news. We're constantly seeing certain things going on. So we understand how to, okay, this is about to happen, that's about to happen. And we understand that there's only a certain amount of prophecies left. And this prophecy is going to run into that prophecy. And that prophecy is going to run into that prophecy. And then we're going to be the fuck up out of here, man. We have to warn you before it's too late, man. All right, the doors of repentance is closing because, wow, we're constantly watching, man. All right, we know that the famine of the word is around the corner. Once the famine, hey, you know, the scriptures say that the Lord is going to bring a famine of the word, right? Matthew 24:14 saying this gospel shall be preached into the four corners of the earth and then the end shall come. All right. The scriptures also say about hold back the four winds. Don't destroy the earth or hurt the earth until we seal the servants of the Lord in their heads. All right. And we know Ezekiel 9:4 saying set that mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry. Or there's another precept to say go to the highways and the byways and bid as many to the marriage. So we know that the men of the Lord are going to be on the highways and the byways for a set amount of time until this here gospel go out throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. Then there's going to be a famine of the word. Then the elect's going to be sealed. Then the devil's going to come down with full-blown wrath. Then the Lord's going to come and deliver us in the midst of World War III and thermonuclear missiles, man. So what we have to constantly watch the news. We have to constantly watch and check the temperature of the water to see where we at, man. All right. To further push this here word, to further edify, to get the most out of it while we can. Because, again, we're about to be cut off. There's no time to be prolonging the day of the Lord, man. All right. So this is why we're doing what we're doing. All right. Verse 7 says, So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word of my mouth and warn them from me. All right. So this is what we were supposed to be doing, man. All right. We were set up as a watchman. Well, let me go ahead and go back to that Isaiah now. Isaiah 62:6. It says, I have set thee a watchman upon thy wall. So the Most High, we just read about that, about how, hey, you know, if the people would take a man of their people and put him up on the wall and a watch for the danger that's coming in. All right, here it says, I have set watchmen upon the walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. All right, so hey, this is just a blow into those people's faces. Always talking about, oh, y'all always talking about doom and gloom. Why y'all always talking about shit like that, man? I was watching a little bit of a video the other day about and we're not like life coaches and things like that, you know, because we got a vast amount of knowledge. We could talk to you about a lot of different things, a lot of different subjects. Every brother is very proficient in their own little, we were, how do I say, we were all on some type of level with some type of knowledge in the world before we even came into the truth. We were very knowledgeable about certain things. You were, when you look back, you're like, damn, this is, okay, I can see, we could have, quote unquote, according to this here world, we all could have been something according to this here world, man. All right, so we were very knowledgeable about things like that. You got some brothers that were mechanics in the world, fixing on cars. They could have been doing that right now, or they could be on YouTube right now telling you about fixing cars and shit like that and everything else like that, and be professionals at it. But that ain't what our job is to be. Our job is supposed to be warning you of this impending danger. So we're gonna constantly keep talking about the things that's in the news, man. This is what's the most important thing right now, because hey, destruction is nigh at hand, man. So is salvation. So which side are you gonna be on? All right. So it says, I have set watchmen upon the walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Hey, and this is what, this is what we do. We upload videos. Brothers are on different schedules, different work schedules. They're up at different times of the day. We're in different time zones and all around the globe. So 24 hours a day, literally, you got brothers putting videos up and uploading videos, man. 24 hours a day around the globe, man. All right, never holding their peace, constantly going in on these things, man. Hey, and you may not even be subscribed to a brother. Like, let's say, obviously, you're listening to this here video now, but let's say you weren't hearing me speak these same words to you right now. I guarantee there's another brother that you're probably subscribed to around the globe that I might not even know about that's telling you the same words, man. All right, so hey, man, this is how the Lord have us set up to be these watchmen, to be telling you about these things. It's just like the news, man. All right, you may have your local news channel. Like let's say, for instance, where I live at, is probably about an hour outside of Tampa, right? We have our local news that may be telling us about a hurricane coming in, but then, we got some brothers that live, a little bit on the other side of Tampa. They have a different local news, but guess what? They, the meteorologist is warning the people of the same impending danger, man. They're on two different channels, two different people. They're speaking the same thing, right? All right. This is what their job is to be. All right. Just like how our job is to be, to stand on our watch and watch these prophecies coming to pass, to go into these prophecies and dissect them and break them down, and to make it easy for you to eat these things, man. All right. Verse 7. Or it says, let me go back to 6. I have set thee watchmen upon the walls of Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silent. All right. And this is what we're out here doing, man. All right. It's not good enough for us to make one video on the MOTB and go through the scriptures and break it down what it is and exactly what those words mean. It's not good enough just to make one video about that thing, man. Hey, man, you may have to make a, hey, there's times where there's certain things where you might hit the same topic multiple times in the same week, because you have a newer news development coming out on these certain things, man. All right, a newer development on this or that coming out, and that's what's really popping off right now, man. Just like right now, you're seeing there's a buildup with the wars and the rumors of wars going on with the Afghanistan thing right now, man. All right, so you have all these different things that's going on, that's constantly building up. So we have to constantly keep watching, constantly keep edifying, constantly keep putting up these videos about the times that we're in, reporting on, not to say the news, but the prophecies, the visions that are taking place. All right. It says, ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silent. All right. And that's where we're at. We're constantly going into these things. Verse 7, and give him no rest till he establish and till he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth, man. So, hey, how is Esau exposed, man? Because the Lord, the Lord will do nothing but reveal his secrets to his servants, the prophets. All right. And then the Lord will consume him with the spirit of his mouth. So we out here constantly exposing Esau left and right, left and right, left and right. Going into these things about what his plan is according to the prophecies before he's able to even do these things, man. We've been telling you about no man was going to be able to buy or sell, save he that have the MOTB, before there was even a pandemic, man. All right. So now he's exposed before he can even make his moves, man. All right. So this is why we, constantly sing this here same song, man. Let me go back into one more precept, or the same precept, actually. Revelation 19 and 11. All right. Because this is the spirit that, if you want to call yourself a so-called Christian or a so-called follower of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? This is the spirit you should truly be in. It's not just preaching love, 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 love. Revelation 19 and 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. For I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi. Worship the Most High. For the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy. So this is what the spirit you should be in, the spirit of prophecy, man. You should be constantly watching, constantly putting up videos on any and everything that you see, constantly putting in that report, man. You know, like here we have the hurricanes. So tropical storm this, then moved up to or tropical depression, moved up to a tropical storm, moved up to a hurricane, a cat 1, a cat 2, then slowed down to a cat 1 again. Constantly giving you that updated report, man. All right, so Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, and pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.